PlayStation can't do no more triple A's. Now they gotta do low budget with less cinematics and walking simulators. Where's the good quality voice acting? How we go from AAA to double A's even though I'm playing on the PlayStation 5 platform? It sounds like a downgrade.
Business here, to be honest, I don't think that's going to save a studio, you know?
Of course, but if it's Microsoft, it's the end of the world. And the funny thing is, I hate to see Sony go out like this, man. But I'll tell you one thing, man. You PlayStation fanboys only want to talk about something when it's too late. I could only imagine if you guys had a PlayStation fanboy as a doctor, and he's like, oh, hold on, your arm, it's just bleeding a little bit. The next minute, it's infected. Now they got to amputate your whole arm. Because the only time that these people do something is when it's too late. I'm telling you, if you got a PlayStation fanboy as a doctor, go find another one. Because the only time they want to operate and do something is when it's too late. Now you out here losing your arm. Now they amputated it. I can't even play video games.
When it comes to the bottom
Come on,
line, it
man.
may make them hesitate. And sure, maybe it did do that.
Bro, be quiet, bro. That's all you people do is cat, man. I mean, just look at the disappointment in this man's eyes, bro. You guys do this every live stream, man. It's so funny that you got a bunch of old PS4 wallpapers because you know that Sony hasn't came up with no new ambitious games. Well, we got Wires of Wohan. We got Stellar Blade. Games that you people ain't gonna play. Let's just be honest, man. I thought at this point, those games should be multi-platform, man. Come on, bro. Ain't nobody buying these Japanese games, bro. At this point, Sony is being run by their American gaming division. You do understand that Sony of Japan doesn't run Sony of America. This is the first time ever since the PS4 where Sony of Japan allowed their American gaming division to operate things without their permission because they don't care anymore. Matter of fact, I go as far to say that PS3 went under with the PS3 because it's not coming from the main source. You know what? Nintendo Switch is coming from the main source of Nintendo in Japan. The fact that Sony of the US has control of a Japanese company shows you that Sony is already dead. I mean, I'm trying to explain things to you, man. I mean, come on, man.
Media molecule, but I have to assume it came down to them pitching a game. This is the game we want to make now after...
Bro, you don't know anything, bro. I mean, at this point, bro, stay on Sony, man, because Microsoft threw out Sea of Thieves just so you guys can get a preparation, to jump ship when with Microsoft through live services, subscriptions, and Game Pass. Why do you think Microsoft put Sea of Thieves on your platform? They put games like Grounded, Grounded, like, because you guys are just little specks of dots, in regards to the world. Have you ever played Grounded? You're like little people in this big open world with people way bigger than you. And Sea of Thieves is to show you guys that when your boat sinks, you gotta abandon ship. So Microsoft's gonna take all your cargo, and guess where it's all going? To PC.
What we did with Dreams.
And even if you play Xbox games on PC, you are still funding Microsoft, man. It's so funny how people say, well, it's because I'm gaming on PC. I'm completely avoiding Microsoft. If you buy their games, you're not. And if you play their games on PC, you are not. Even Microsoft has some form of control, even with Steam. So even if you're buying PlayStation games on Steam, you do understand that you're also giving Microsoft money because it runs off their own operating system. You do understand that the guy that worked for Steam used to work for Microsoft, right? They have a very good business relationship. I hope you people understand that.
I would assume something more in line with...
And I'm coming at you guys with the facts.
Just a regular game, so maybe some kind of platformer potentially. And
bro, that's all you people do is cope, man. And I don't understand how you could be a Nintendo or an Xbox or PC fan allowing a PlayStation fanboy to take away the fun from you, because this is where they get the enjoyment, man. All the stuff that they do from the projection Station 5 is to make you feel bad about playing on your preferred platform, man. We can see it in your eyes, man. I mean, look at it. Look at it. This dude's out here looking at stuff on a sticky note that he just wrote. Because this man doesn't know what he's talking about, bro. The fact that it even looks like you're looking at notes shows you that you're not knowledgeable about the gaming industry.
This could be what made somebody go, you know what? Okay, yeah, we can use that. And if you guys can be efficient and hit your milestones, this can work.
Yeah, but if it was Microsoft, oh, Microsoft's going under, Microsoft's going third party, they're not going to see any appeal of the console, which they don't. Microsoft does not care, man. The only time as to why they even still having consoles is because PlayStation still has theirs. By the time PlayStation sees that there's no appeal to continue with console gaming, that's when Microsoft's going to abandon the consoles. You guys don't believe me? If you're an Xbox fanboy and you believe that Microsoft cares about video game consoles, then you don't know what they essentially use the console to help revitalize PC gaming. Have you guys noticed? Now all of a sudden Microsoft's putting more respect into the PC gaming landscape. I mean, that is the future of gaming, but the point is the only reason as to why the original Xbox exists is because at one point PC gaming wasn't really popular. It was kind of dead, right? So they had to make a PC-centric console to get PC gamers on board with it. Right? That's why you get all these connectivities and smart delivery, and owning the game on Xbox is no different than owning it on the PC, because at the end of the day, it's all a part of the same ecosystem. You people just don't want to see it. Consoles are dead, bro.
And at least I hope that's the situation, because it would have been really bad. I mean, it already is bad, but it would have been like significantly worse, in my opinion.
Yeah, Sony's bleeding money. Let's talk about the fact that they've lost $10 billion, man. Sony's not making money off consoles. People are not buying PlayStation 5s for exclusives. These are things that I've been saying for years, bro. And the funny thing is, all you guys can sit there and say, oh, you were but actually, let me do this with a PlayStation 5 controller in my hand like Dreamcast guy. You an Xbox fanboy. You're an Xbox. You just hate PlayStation. You don't understand. You only game on one platform, man. If only my PlayStation 5 controller could formulate tears dripping from his analog joysticks, man. I don't know what to tell you, PlayStation fanboys, man. But it's about time you people be quiet and start acknowledging the problems of this platform. And yes, it's me, Dreamcast guy. Watch him do it. I swear he gonna drop another video today and he gonna do the same exact thing.
If we saw,
you guys are so predictable, man. Like, it's crazy, bro. Like, at this point, I can literally predict what you people are about to do. He's going to sit there and talk about how, there's still faith in Sony. I mean, even though they lost $10 billion, Sony can still pull it through. They can just invest it in some old existing IPs, and more likely that should work. And if they revitalize their old franchises, everything should go back to normal, when it's not. Bro, there's a reason as to why these old franchises are dead. There's a reason as to why Sony shut down Zipper Interactive and Evolution Studios, because you know why? They weren't making any money. Now look at it. Now we got another studio that we just lost on top of games that Sony had in development. Come on.
It's like,
come on.
Okay, we're shutting down London Studio and canceling their game, and we're also shutting down Media Molecule.
Whoa, Media Molecule. Wow.
Media Molecule fails to hit their milestones, however, with this new game.
Yep, and guess what? And you don't see that as a problem? A lot of games that Sony has been working on have been failing to hit their milestones. You do understand that. Helldivers 2 got lucky for the fact that game dropped on PC. Because if it didn't, that game wouldn't have hit its milestone. So that shows you that Sony at this position needs to go multiplat. It's crazy, man. If you actually look at it for what it is, I'm telling you, I think Sony's going to try to go strong this year. But if people don't buy Rise and Ronin and Stellar Blade, you might see them dropping games on PC day and date, man. I mean, we're already seeing it now. Because at this point, Sony cannot keep losing money like this, man. They don't have as much money as Microsoft to be able to recuperate those lost costs.
They could be in trouble. They
Yeah.
They do have a lot
and
of
that's bad. Media Molecule, bro? Isn't that the same company that made Little Big Planet? Wow.
On them now. But hopefully they can get it together. And
oh, here we go. They can get it together, but if this was Xbox, they would be dead right about now.
Kind of get back to the
I mean, Microsoft Studios and Nintendo Studios seem to be healthy, and the ones at PlayStation happen to be unstable. I mean, I knew this for as long as Naughty Dog, when they would complain about making Last of Us Part 2, about how they have development hell. They tried so hard to make this game, and Sony pushed them to the brink. This is how I knew Sony was about to lose their own company. Because at the end of the day, their employees are not happy. And that's why you never got a Last of Us Part 3 or even an Uncharted 5, because you know why? Sony burnt them out. They burnt them out. I think they're doing the same thing with Santa Monica. They're like, yo, y'all got to get on that next game. Y'all going to get on that next game. And that's why you got people like the Gamer 23 saying, we got to bless the people at Insomniac because they're the only ones doing what all these other companies ain't doing. Because you know why? They're tired. Sony created this environment where it's not healthy for their employees. And that's why they got fired, and that's why studios are going under. You can say, well, this happens all the time. But a lot of the times with Microsoft, but Bethesda and Activision, with the 1,900 positions, that was more due to overlapping positions, though. So that's not even the same argument. But Activision, Bethesda, these companies are very healthy and stable, even with the companies at Nintendo. You see, there's a big difference as to what we got going on here. Now, with Sony, studios getting shut under. That's sad, bro. Media Molecule, bro. If that's the people, if I remember that made Little Big Planet, man, that is rather unfortunate.
To the basics, I guess you could say.
At this point, Sony, just go multiplat, man. Stop listening to these fanboys. Go multiplat, man. I'm tired of seeing these studios go under. And then you guys wonder as to why companies would want to work with Sony. Sony's losing their own studios right in front of you, and you guys think everything's okay. I mean, they know it. Look at the expression he got on. He knows that Sony's not in a good position. Right now, he's contemplating if he wants to come back on Xbox. And guess what? Don't come back. We don't want you. Stay where you at, bro. Stay on that game, Sea of Thieves. So when we rob you on crossplay, we're going to take all your cargo, and you're going to see your PlayStation ship sinking right underneath you, man. Matter of fact, Microsoft might even allow you to buy a PlayStation. You know how you can put flags on Sea of Thieves? I swear, I'm going to start playing that game when it's crossplay. And they're going to have a PlayStation flag. Because you could do this for Xbox. Put a PlayStation flag. And it's going to be so awesome seeing it sink down. And it's not because that's what I want. It's for the fact that you PlayStation fanboys didn't want to nip this in the bud, bro. Y'all didn't want to do it. And now that we're finally seeing it, we're like, yeah, clearly projection, Now after this video, he's gonna have another reason to say, well, Microsoft, they're going under and these games is failing and all this other nonsense that ain't actually going on.
Fun game for PlayStation. You guys can do that, right? I believe Media Molecule can do that. So just wanted to give you that kind of follow-up report, something that came out yesterday that I didn't really cover.
Of course you didn't cover because it was bad news in regards to PlayStation. Why would you cover bad news in regards to Play? But if it was Microsoft, you guys jump on every single little rumor that happens to be bad, which happened to be proven false. Oh, I didn't want to talk about it. Why? Because it's bad about PlayStation? Yep, there you go. Go sip that.
Success and realizing that there may be more money to be made by bringing games to PC quicker.
Woo! And who thought of this first? Microsoft. Now all of a sudden, you PlayStation fanboys have no problem with Sony bringing their games to PC. You know these guys don't want that, man. All the days of, PC gamers, y'all ain't nothing but a bunch of poor beggars. Now look at it. Now they taking all your games, man. You see? You reap what you sow.
But there's a delicate balancing act to be found here. This could
it got to be delicate because, if they put everything, then what's the point of owning a PlayStation 5 platform, right?
Impact on PlayStation hardware.
That's all they worried about. That's all they care about is console wars, bro. Who cares, man? At the end of the day, I want to see Sony be successful, bro. If Sony got to put their games on PC, by all means, I don't care. Put it on everything. Put it on Xbox. Put it on Switch for all I care. I want to see this company survive, okay? I don't want to see Sony go under, man. And that's what the funny thing is. You people look at my video and assume that I want to see PlayStation go under, when in reality, I want to see PlayStation be successful. I want to see them still developing games, and I want to have these games still widely available to the consumers. I don't care about that. I don't care about the console war garbage. The point is, I would rather see these games go multiplat than to see these games go under, like what you're saying about Media Molecule at Little Big Planet. Come on, man. You guys are trying. See, you know what's funny? Remember when I brought that argument up? Gamester with another W. Remember when I brought up that argument that I would rather see Sony go multiplat with games like Killzone as long as the games can be successful? Now look at it. Now we're talking about it, right? This is one of those situations. Gamester with another W.
So it's going to need to be certain.
Man, I'm out here collecting W's, man. They need to make a game out of me called Gamester 64, man. I'm out here collecting W's like Mario 64. You know how they got the stars, except mine's is a big old W symbol. Dun, 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 dun. Man, that's all I'm doing, man. That's all I'm doing is collecting W's on all of y'all.
advantages outweigh the
Here
negative.
we go.
There'll be no doubt commenters on
They need to make a platformer off me, man.
who plead for a return to lower profile software like
You know, there probably be one unhinged person in the comment section to be like, yeah, they did make a game based around it. It's called Donkey Kong 64. With these insensitive jokes, man. Like, I'm... Yo, Gamester 64, man. Hey, yo, that's my exclusive Donkey Kong 64, man. We getting all those bananas on you. Oh, yeah.
Genie and Gravity Rush. I don't know why I said it like that. Gravity Rush 2. But as much as we
these are old games.
we simply have to acknowledge the fact that they don't sell in the quantities required to move the needle.
Let's go! Gamester with another W. I told you guys that people ain't buying PlayStation 5s for your exclusives. Now you got the proof right in front of you. Let's rewind that.
There'll be no doubt commenters on Push Square who plead
Let's
for
go.
a return to lower profile software like Concrete Genie.
Let's go.
Gravity Rush. I don't know why I said
Here we go.
like that. Gravity Rush 2. But as much as we adore these titles, we simply have to acknowledge the fact that they don't sell in the quantities required to move the needle.
Gamester with another W. Didn't I tell you guys that? Didn't I tell you that Sony was not making enough money off their exclusive games? I mean, hey, now they're going to put all their... Now, at this point, Sony's putting all their games on PC, man. There's nothing you PlayStation fanboys could do about it, bro. I told you. This is why Hideo Teriyaki told you that we need to focus on PC and cloud and mobile gaming. You know? And if that don't work, where else do you think those games are going to go? Nintendo Switch and Xbox.
Yes, their budgets are lower.
That's why Microsoft don't care. You don't think Microsoft don't know this? You don't think they know this information? You don't think that they know Sony's struggling? I mean, at this point, they're like, you know what? Bless the PlayStation 5 platform, man. We clearly see that Sony's struggling. At the end of the day, let's put our software on their platform so when the PlayStation 5 dies, we'll have a lot of people. You got to think of Microsoft is very evil about how they go about things. And let me explain. They try to do it with the Dreamcast. What Microsoft is doing, right? They're putting a parasite on your system. They know Sony's in a bad position, so they're putting their games on your. You guys think it's a benefit, but I'm going to explain to you how it's a negative. They're putting their games on your platform, right? So when Sony ceases to exist or where they don't make consoles, where do you think all those Sea of Thieves and Xbox gamer fans that they're building on PlayStation, where do you think they're going to go? They're going to go to the Xbox ecosystem. That's the whole idea of what's going on here. So for you guys to think that it's a benefit, we all here stealing games, you people clearly don't see it, bro. You clearly don't see it. I'm explaining it to you. That's what's going on here. That's why Microsoft says, hey, we don't care about putting our games on the competing platform because one, we're not competing with them, and then two, they're going under. Do you see Microsoft trying to do the same games for Nintendo? Matter of fact, is Hi-Fi Rush even coming out for the Nintendo Switch? I don't even think it is. So that might mean that they look at Nintendo more of a competitor than Sony.
But it's worth remembering the cost of creating all games is increasing anyway.
And Sony can't afford it. I told you guys this.
As always, with the video game industry, there'll be much hand-wringing and overreaction. Sony will be fine.
Here we go. Sony will be fine, even with all this bad information going. How can Sony be fine, bro? You have to ask yourself. There's a few things that Sony can do. Either go multi-plat. First thing they should start doing is putting all their games on PC day and date. Okay? That's the first thing. Now, if that doesn't work, then they might at this point have to port their games to other devices. It is what it is, bro. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm sick and tired of seeing these Sony studios go under just because of you fanboys' own sense of pride, man. At the end of the day, pride before the fall. And if you guys want to see these studios go under just because of a sense of pride, then at this point, you are not on the side of gaming and you are on the side of being a fanboy, because I would not want to see that.
Its financials are disappointing. It's worth repeating.
Woo!
It's making record-breaking revenue.
Let's go. And I'm not happy about this, guys. I'm not happy about these things that I'm hearing. The only thing I'm happy to see is that you fanboys finally get to eat crow, and now you can humble yourself once again. But we already know they're going to go back to bashing Nintendo, bashing PC, bashing Xbox. We know how you PlayStation fanboys operate, bro. We understand this. Because you guys will sit there and say all these things, and then the next minute, you guys get drunk enough to come on camera, and you want to talk poorly about Xbox again.
Therefore, just needs to tidy up its margins. That's not an easy feat. and we don't envy the person responsible for turning it around, but it is possible. PlayStation's biggest issue is that it's cultivated a fan base that expects the biggest and best productions.
A lot of that. But the funny thing is, I mean, a lot of consoles have done that. You know what I mean? Nintendo, they kind of got by with it, right? But Microsoft has done the same thing. A lot of their gamers are inclined to see bigger budget games. Now you're trying to tell me that Sony is going to be an indie studio and you're going to have Microsoft being the only company out here dropping AAAs on the PlayStation 5 platform? So now Microsoft and few other publishers alike Microsoft are going to be the only ones that have access to AAA of gaming? Like, you got to ask yourself, man, that's not a good move. That's not a good look for Sony, especially considering that the PS4 had every PlayStation console had AAA games. Okay, now all of a sudden you got the PS5, which happens to be an upgrade over the PS4. PS4 had AAA games. Now the PS5 has double A's. What? Like, to most people, they'd be like, I mean, I have no problem with it, but at the end of the day, that probably explains as to why a lot of their games are cross-generation.
And that may not be sustainable moving forwards.
It's not.
Exactly how it navigates this very unique problem and finds ways to speed.
It's not unique. It's only unique to Sony because Sony's the only one dealing with it. That's why it's unique.
Development and lower costs without sacrificing quality is a conundrum of the highest order.
Wow, the fact that Sony got to sacrifice qualities, and bro, it's done. I mean, at this point, man, you Xbox gamers, you won. You won. You finally got what you wanted. The Xbox fanboys, you guys have won the war. I mean, if anybody thinks, what Sony fanboy can say to tell you that they're winning right now? Oh, we got more hardware sales. That's projection, bro. I told you guys, the people that went out there about the PS5 are playing it for third-party games, man. Look at the top 10 games in their country, bro. Okay, it got to the point where Sony had to lie and put Helldivers 2 in the front lines over Fortnite when we clearly know that ain't the truth. I told you guys, man. It is what it is. Sony is dead, bro. I could already see the writing on the wall.
Nevertheless,
they're done.
It's one it's going to have to overcome. So, just wanted to read this because I thought that was that was my first time reading it, but I had a good feeling it was going to be
It hurts, huh? You can tell these PlayStation fanboys are hurt, bro.
Well said.
Hurt.
Jake Skew 27. Jake Skew doing what he does every stream, basically dropping a membership gift. Jake, thank you for getting us started today, man.
It is what it is. Let's skip some of this. Hold on.
Again, Sony is making it clear that, yeah, we're still pursuing live service.
I thought you guys said that Sony was against that. When Microsoft was pushing gas games, you guys said, oh, that's all because that's all Microsoft has. You know what the funny thing is? It seems like Microsoft is pushing more single-player experiences. Have you noticed that? Y'all like, oh, y'all got it wrong. Y'all got it wrong. Sony's pushed because Microsoft already has multiplayer games. That's what you people don't understand. It seems like Sony's pushing for live service and subscription games like multiplayer, and Microsoft's pushing single player. Y'all like, how so? Hi-Fi Rush? Starfield? Think about it. These are single-player games. Elder Scrolls 6? Avoid? These all look to be like single-player games. Indiana Jones? These are single-player games. Blade? We already know that's probably more likely a single-player. Think about it. Microsoft is pushing more single-player games on their platform than Sony. Wow, y'all like, oh my God, I didn't even see it like that. See? I broke it down for you. You see Fable? We already know that's probably a single-player game with some cooperative multiplayer features like the original, like the older games. So there you go. Microsoft is pushing more single-player oriented experiences than Sony. That's crazy. Who would have thought? On top of already the existing multiplayer and Gear 6 or whatever other games they got in development, it's over, bro. Microsoft already won. It's done. Look, he knows, bro. He knows that Sony don't got nothing.
Not going to say much about it.
And the funny thing is, a lot of these, of course you don't want to say nothing about it because you're a fanboy and you don't want to touch up on the realities of what PlayStation is going through. You know what the funny thing is? Microsoft has way more access to games now ever since the Bethesda Activision deal on top of their existing studios, which they all can drop on Game Pass. It's done. There's nothing you PlayStation fanboys can say, man. I mean, I don't even care. I forgot one other one, Hellblade 2. It's done. You guys are over, bro. Just pick up your bags and go home. Go buy an Xbox. Go play on PC. It's over for you guys. I'm sorry. Go pick up a Nintendo Switch, man. PlayStation 5 is done. If you guys can't see that PlayStation 5 is already done, then I don't know what to tell you, man. It's over for Sony.
And so we see the layoffs. London Studios game, another live service game underneath the PlayStation Studios banner, canceled.
And that's the funny thing is, Sony is canceling live. They're trying so hard to make live service and subscription games, but yet they all keep failing for some reason. It's just Sony just can't nail it, man. Y'all like, why would they rather have that studio do that and then just say, hey, let's revitalize Killzone and see what we can get with that? But no, they know that. They know people don't play Killzone like that. I mean, it would be a great game, but at that point, like I said, a lot of those stagnant PlayStation franchises would have to go multiplat, and maybe Sony should copy a little page out of Microsoft and say, hey, you know what? Let's drop games on other platforms on a case-by-case basis. We don't have to give them everything, right? But let's just, like I said, mediate the problem, because you can clearly see that there's an issue going on here.
Twisted Metal, which was under...
Bro, Twisted Metal failed on PS3. I was one of the first people. I wish I could just pull up my copy. I have it, though, and show you guys. That's a great game, but nobody played the version on PS3. The game failed, bro. Come on, bro. Like I said, man, Sony tried with the PS3, and every time they tried, those games failed. Because you know why? The PlayStation fanboys don't play those games. They play third party.
Fire Sprite, another PlayStation Studios live service game, canceled.
So if Sony's focusing on live service and subscription games and they're all happening to get canceled, then that means that Sony's not in a good position right now, huh? Cap. Oh, look at this.
Apparently the Horizon game is safe, but I think one of the only reasons the Horizon multiplayer game is safe is because they partnered with NCSoft.
Wow. So see, there you go. Sony's got to partner with somebody to get games out now. They can't even rely on themselves anymore. It's done, guys. I'm sorry, but I don't care how many PlayStation 5 console sales that you got out there. It's done. Microsoft is the market leader. Microsoft is taking over the gaming industry, and it's done for you. It is what it is, bro. Even if Microsoft stops with the consoles, they're going to have us continue our legacy through PC. So the transition for me from Xbox to PC is going to be a lot easier. Y'all like, oh, well, that's crazy. You never play. Doesn't matter, because if you notice, one thing that Microsoft's been doing, smart delivery, you get it on Xbox, you can also get it on PC. So we already know Microsoft is not going to continue the consoles. So when that is said and done, when consoles is over, officially over, even when Sony fails to come up with their console, then all my games are going to just be pushed to PC. Okay? I see nothing wrong with that. Microsoft created an ecosystem to make things an easy transition for everybody.
And I think that partnership has essentially made it so that, okay, we have an external partner now to help us.
Wow.
With this.
Yep, just like Square. I mean, think about it, bro. If you notice, Sony don't really come up with their own games anymore, man. A lot of their stuff is being made by a lot of studios. Stellar Blade was supposed to be multiplat. Final Fantasy 16 was supposed to be multiplat. Forspoken. A lot of these games, Sony is using other companies and making these games exclusive. If you notice that? Helldivers 2, even Foam Stars was one of those side projects where they had to have Square work on it. Sony don't got no games. They got nothing. This is sad, bro.
What's going to happen to Concord and Firewalk? I wish I could tell you.
Wow, now you have no faith in it. Now you PlayStation fanboys have no faith in these games.
What's going to happen to Fair Games in Haven? I wish I could tell you.
Oh.
But what I can tell you is that I specifically remember saying this, and I want to bring it up because, and it's not to say, oh, I was right again.
Bro, you was not right, bro. You was capping, bro. The only person that was right in this community was me. Now, get on your PlayStation knees and worship the kings of Xbox and throw me my flowers. Because I told you guys this.
Because honestly, I'm sad to be right about this. But
wow.
I remember...
He's sad, bro.
It was either in November or December. I think it was...
You see how these PlayStation fanboys are already consciously aware that Sony's going under? All this stuff that they do in their live streams is nothing but a charade, bro. They know it, man. They just hurt from the inside. So instead of them just accepting that hurt, they want to go attack everybody else. They want to make everybody else feel bad about enjoying the games on their platform, man, regardless of what you play. Right? And real PlayStation fans should be calling this out, man. Because to be honest with you, Sony is in a position because of you guys, man. Because of you. All this capping. I mean, there's probably been people that trusted you, man, that honestly believe what you said. And now look at it. You're completely going against what you said. Now these diehard PlayStation fans, man, like, wow, Sony lied to me. You lied to me. You said everything was gonna be all right. Fuji's in the house tonight. Sony's gonna be all right. And that's not what's going on here.
Not the most recent earnings report. The most recent earnings report happened just a couple of weeks ago. It was the one prior.
All I'm going to advise you guys is just play games, man. You know, at the end of the day, we are at the end days of video gaming. Just play games, man. You know, that's all you PlayStation fanboys could do, because at the end of the day, man, it's not looking good for you, man. Every time you guys decide to do one of these 2-3 hour live streams, you guys spend more time on Twitter than anything. You guys do not play PlayStation exclusives. And I'm not going to sit there and act like I like a lot of them either. I don't. Ever since God of War with the reboot, it made me not a fan of the franchise. A lot of the games that Sony does nowadays, they don't interest me anymore, man. They just don't. And it's sad because I remember playing PlayStation since the 1 all the way to 3. I mean, I kind of felt this during the PS4. I did. I felt very spited with the PS4. But at the end of the day, I thought it was a serviceable console in comparison to the Xbox One. But besides that, though, PlayStation 5 is by far Sony's worst. I think it's worse than the Vita.
And let me know if you guys remember this.
We don't.
Yuki Totoki, Sony.
His name is Hideo Teriyaki.
Had to tell the shareholders, we have to delay half of our live service games.
Wow.
You guys remember that? They said, we're going to delay half of our projects. They need more time.
This is bad, bro. You don't see these things going on at Microsoft, bro. You don't.
One of the things I remember saying very specifically.
It's over.
I don't know. And who's going to push the industry?
Microsoft, clearly. They got Bethesda and they got Activision. Microsoft's going to push the gaming industry, and they have the money to be able to continue pushing the gaming industry. And just like I told you guys, that potentially Sony, if they want to continue with consoles, they might have to be more likely bought out by another entity, which has more money than them, like an Apple or a Google. It is what it is, man. Like you said, they got to work with other people to get games out. So it shows you that Sony just doesn't have the money to compete no more.
It's a great question. That's a great question. I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know. I think
at the fear in your people's faces, man. The fear, bro.
Right now, at least for the foreseeable future, until things change, I don't think anybody can put. I mean, maybe Rockstar with GTA 6, but beyond that, I don't think anything can. Just because it's the development teams.
PlayStation 5 is done.
Cannot focus on pushing the industry if they're focused on surviving.
Wow, you hear that, bro? PlayStation is focused on surviving. They can't even come up with games, man. They literally turned their whole console gaming division into a survival horror. Resident Station 3. Or should I say Resident Station 5? Like, that's crazy. BioStation. Like, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous, bro. Microsoft, Carrier. Like, how did Sony turn their whole studio into the genre of survival horror, man? Like, this don't even make sense, man.
If the publishers are focused on surviving, if the companies themselves are focused on surviving. So once we get out of the survival mode.
Yeah, gotta get out of survival. What is he doing? Hey, man, if you're trying to get on a survival, you know what, man? I got a reference for y'all, man. Y'all need to play Minecraft, man. You know how you got survival mode? And I think Sony need to go back to creative.
I think we'll find out. Yeah, and we have hit a wall. And everybody's basically,
hit a wall already? Bro, the generation barely even started.
The impact has already occurred. We're trying to just, I guess you say, weather the storm now.
Weather storms. It's done. You PlayStation fanboys can't say nothing after this.
Get through it. And
it's done.
Wabudu, sorry, I missed your chat here. Thank you for that, buddy. You're saying, I wouldn't mind if Sony started making more games like Kana and Astro and cut back on the high-budget titles. I think that's a really...
Bro, if they got to make titles like that, then I'm not gaming on PlayStation. I'm sorry. I'm so used to playing these AAAs and these graphically demanding games. That's why I buy PlayStation. I don't want to play no AA's on my PlayStation.
Smart thing that people have been saying, where they're like, we do need more games like that from Sony. But like, not every game has to
Now,
be.
now Sony fanboys are damage controlling for indie games. That's crazy. You guys were some of the first people that said that, oh, I don't like Nintendo because they got AA games. Oh, they got indie games. Remember that? Remember Xbox has nothing but indie games. Now all of a sudden you're saying that the whole company of Sony needs to go in the direction of an indie studio. Bro, it's done. It's done.
Biggest triple anus, right? Like, what about Kanan, Bridge of Spirits? What about Astro? Like, what about? These games are fucking awesome. People
But
love
nobody, but guess what? Even though they AA, a lot of people still don't play them.
them. I enjoyed them. And I absolutely would love to have more games like that. And I think that's where Sony.
So Xbox is going to be the only console. Think about this for a moment. Oh, this is really good. This is really good for Microsoft. Now, Microsoft is going to be the only company that has access to legitimate AAAs. Woo! AAAs and AA's. Woo! I bet people are probably taking this right now and saying, you know what, man, I'm about to trade this in, man. Trade this in, man. Look, this me Dreamcast guy. Trade me in, bro. Trade me in. Because now and the funny thing is I've noticed a lot of people trading in their PS5s, man. They probably like, I ain't playing no AA batteries on this. I want triple A's. You know, and it's going to be hard for you fanboys to play games like that because you guys are so accustomed to playing AAA blockbuster games. And I think a lot of gamers are. I think that's the reason as to why the PS4 was so successful. Okay? But if you're focusing on lower budget games on a highly, I wouldn't even say it's expensive, but a next generation piece of hardware, then I'm sorry, man. I'm going to have to abandon ship. I'm going to have to abandon PlayStation, bro. Because at the end of the day, Microsoft's going to provide me with the AAAs, the AA's, the indie games. They're going to provide me on things that Sony just can't provide me on. The backwards compatibility is trash for PlayStation 5. They still telling you that you got to play PS3 games through streaming. I mean, Sony got to get it together, man. Microsoft has the backwards compatibility, day one Game Pass on third party, their own exclusives. I mean, at the end of the day, Microsoft is providing you the value and the magnitude of variety of games. You guys know that, man. Even if you're not a fan of it, you guys cannot hate on that, man. You guys can't hate on it. Backwards compatibility with original Xbox, 360, One, Series games. Why can't Sony have something similar? Why can't they have, I mean, they're trying with PS1, 2, but 3, man, come on, with 3, y'all got to get it together. Matter of fact, their catalog of PS1 and 2 games is not even there. You should even call it backwards compatibility because they don't even offer that many PS2 games or PS1 games. You can't put a CD to play it even though you got a CD drive. I mean, come on, man. Sony's done, bro. PlayStation is over.
Again, I don't know if they're going to be able. Like, I don't think we're going to get a game like Ken Bridge of Spirits. Well, I mean, technically, we did get Astro from Team Asobi, which is a first-party studio. So I guess we will get that from Sony. But I guess most of those types of games, I just feel like Sony, I just don't imagine them going to like Sucker Punch and saying, hey, we know you guys are working on Ghost of Tsushima 2, but can you make something like.
No, see, the problem is this is what's going to happen. They're going to downsize some companies, right? They're going to use Insomniac. Insomniac might be doing some of the AA's, but they're going to use Santa Monica. They're going to try to have a company that can buy time until the AAA's come out. You guys peep what I'm saying? So they're trying to have studios that can come up with these smaller projects, these smaller AA's, because these AAA's are going to take a long time to develop and come out with. Okay, 4 or 5 years. Okay, we got a bunch of AA's. Okay, 4 or 5 years to get to AAA. Same thing. Okay, so at the end of the day, you're playing more AA's on PlayStation than AAA's. Microsoft can do both. Microsoft can do the Elder Scrolls 6s. They can do all these big blockbuster games that people are looking forward to. I'm sorry, man. I don't think Elder Scrolls 6 is going to come out until after Sony's dead. Y'all really thinking y'all going to get Elder Scrolls 6? So Microsoft is smart enough not to do that. I think Microsoft is going to hold off on that game for quite some time. Remember, it's going to be a big open world, ambitious game. And I don't think they want to drop that game with as close to GTA 6. They're going to let people have their fun 3 or 4 or 5 years, and then they'll probably drop an Elder Scrolls 6. I don't think Microsoft's coming out with that game for a long time. I'll be very surprised if they do. Okay? They're going to let GTA 6 kind of get its money and let the game kind of die out a little bit. Because if you drop Elder Scrolls 6 with GTA 6 is I wouldn't say it's going to completely kill it, but it's definitely going to have, GTA 6 is going to have more starring power though, for sure. So Microsoft can play that game. So I think Microsoft is only throwing out these little Indiana Jones, these little Blade games, just because Sony's here. But I think when Sony's done, Elder Scrolls 6, all those games are going to come out, man. They're all going to come out, man. And I'm telling you, and what can Sony do to compete with a game like Elder Scrolls 6? Absolutely nothing.
Within 2 to 3 years, much smaller scale, kind of like a hybrid of AA and AAA. I think you could do that. Like, I just, you know what I mean?
Because Elder Scrolls 6 is going to have the same hype that Skyrim did, man. Skyrim is probably one of the best-selling games. So now people are going to automatically be glued to Elder Scrolls 6. Automatically.
And I don't know how many studios underneath Sony at this point. I mean, again, maybe like Mini Molecule.
Wow.
Team Sobi. These are two teams I think can absolutely do that. But I think Sony's going to have to rely on partners.
Yep, they're already doing it now. Foam Stars, Final Fantasy 16, Forspoken. They're already doing it now.
Studios to keep doing that as well.
He's hurt. His throat's getting dry. It's getting real dry on PlayStation.
Yeah, exactly. Like Sly Cooper, yes.
That will never come back.
Yes, exactly. I don't think Sony's going to say, Sucker Punch, can you make another Sly Cooper? But there's also
Of course not, because those games are not going to sell as well.
We also have to question the psyche of the studios themselves as well.
You gotta study the psyche of you PlayStation fanboys and how you guys can be so wrong thinking that people care about your exclusives when in reality, 95% of the gaming community don't care. You guys are in a minority. Look at it. Look how hard it's for him to put that cup down, man. He's like, my throat is still kind of dry.
Because we do have to understand that a lot of these studios might not want to do stuff like that as well. The Insomniac dev is Ben Arfman.
It's done, bro. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, man. Like I said, these people still out here doing 3 or 4 hour podcasts. I've noticed that Porter Rock is doing the same exact thing. At this point, you PlayStation fanboys have already lost the war, bro. I told you, we held the line for a very good thing. This black ant was carrying this chip all on his back, all by himself. All the Xbox fans that ran, well, guess what? Gamester was still here to represent, man. And I'm not here to just represent Xbox. I'm here to represent the whole gaming community. Ain't that right, Dreamcast guy? Because that's what gaming is about to me. And at the end of the day, I don't want to see Sony go out in this direction. I want to see Sony still be able to continue to develop and make great games for the audience. But if that means that they got to go multi-plat or if they got to put games on PC, by all means, do it. Stop listening to these fanboys, bro. These fanboys are destroying your platform, man. The fanboys are the reason as to why I can't even enjoy PlayStation anymore, man. I like to see these games like Killzone and Infamous come back out, but the only way they would be able to succeed is if they go multi-plat. It is what it is, bro. I'm telling you guys the honest truth, but hey, you guys believe what you want, man, because at the end of the day, Gamester with another W. Hey guys, I'm just playing a little Gamester 64, but have a good one.